Dawn Stensler-Menti back with Lindy Snyder, CEO of Lindy Skin, mom of 4. You know, thinking of Mother's Day, influences of your parents on you and what kind of mother you are, dictated by your dad, Ed Snyder, your mom, who's a twin, you have twin daughters. Right. Talk to me a little bit about Mother's Day.
Mother's Day is very special to me. I think that it's interesting because I always wanted 4 children, and I always wanted 2 boys and 2 girls, and I have them. But I always wanted the twins, and my mom is a twin. And there's a whole culture around that. So she and her twin, it's like having 2 moms. And so there's a real motherly culture in our family, and with us being very close. And I think that what I really wanted for my kids was to have that same kind of closeness to go down the generations. And that was important, that you're always going to have your family to rely on. And I think that I really learned that from my mom and my dad, that no matter what happens, your family, good or bad, is still there.
Is this when Daniel was a baby?
That's Garrett.
That's Garrett.
That's
oh
Garrett.
My goodness,
is a baby.
He's now driving.
We're on the ice at the old Spectrum for the Christmas party. And that's a family thing that all the Flyers, the team and their families and all of us would do and still do every year. And it's very special, long-standing tradition.
Growing up in Philadelphia, you know, with a dad who owns the Flyers, but you're also huge fans.
Yes.
And what is that like? Because Philadelphia fans are tough, and you're a tough fan, right?
Yes.
So describe that, growing up and being this huge Flyers fan, but then sometimes like the family gets blamed somehow for something, right?
That is not easy. It's not easy because there's no question that this is not a business. Certainly to my dad, it's his passion and it's all of our passion. We've grown up with it, so it's always felt normal to be involved. And I think that we're huge fans, and our emotions are definitely tied. And I remember as a very little girl, if I wanted to get an increase in allowance, I always made sure to wait until after a win. You never asked Dad for anything after a loss, ever. Don't even talk to him. But so that was always funny that we could sort of predict, you know, what he might be like the next day.
And people don't realize, you know, a lot of sports, the players, whatever their baseball or basketball, they're very superstitious.
Very.
But you're really superstitious.
Oh,
and your
completely.
family's really superstitious.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Right?
Yes. I mean, during some of the playoffs, I remember at one point, my son Garrett went outside to take a call on his cell phone. It was in the spring, so he was walking around the driveway, and we scored at a very critical time, and I made him stay outside the rest of the game. But I do remember being forced to stay in bathrooms by my, you know, depending where we were at a critical.
No black cats,
yes,
you know.
Yeah, same suit or, you know, same clothing. I mean, same routine that day. We're pretty superstitious, but I am telling you, I'm here to tell you that it works. I didn't stick to my routine this year for the Flyers. I'm sorry.
Well, no, it was my fault. I sent you that stupid orange thong.
Oh,
you
gosh.
And Lauren, I confess. Don't even tell your dad. I hope he's not watching.
I have that. It's hanging up.
It's a lace, lovely lace orange thong that I sent to you and Lauren. It was a bad idea.
Oh, my gosh.
Blame the thong.
We'll send it to next year's opponent. That's what we'll do. We'll send it to
some
the
big
Wise.
hairy man, right?
Yes.
So you, talking about good luck symbols, you sent me, or you gave to me one year for my birthday, this Hamsa, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you love symbols. And I swear to this day, there was a lot of mishigas with my husband, and we all Google Larry Menti if you don't know all that drama, right?
Right.
And so you gave this to me, and I swear to God, my life turned around. And I wear it, I rub it, and I obviously it's the love of friend and positive energy. Right. But I find it interesting because I never really, had any of that, and that was something you taught me.
Oh my gosh, I know that this is crazy, but I do. I wear a little symbol to a little evil eye, and I always think that I have bad days if for some reason I take this off. And I do think that there has to be something to these very ancient symbols. They're ancient, but they cross many cultures. You might see the Hamsa in India, you might see it in Israel, you might see it in Arab countries, but it's very, very prevalent through many generations, many countries. And I think, it's just another type of a blessing. And I think that all blessings are good from any religion
And for
any
me,
source.
you're my blessing, you know, and we need that girlfriend power.
That's right. It's
I mean,
important.
And we're always saying to each other, how many of us say this? We don't do enough with our girlfriends, right? We're spending time with the kids, with the dogs, whatever it is, the job,
Right.
and not with the girlfriends and taking time for
Right.
yourself.
Yeah, and I don't think you don't realize really until you're older as a woman how important your female friends are. I think that when girls are young, they're competitive. They're competing for boyfriends. Later, they're competing for jobs or whatever it is. And women can often be very tough on each other, tough critics. And once you've gotten to a point where you've had similar experiences with babies or then children, marriages, whatever it is that's been difficult in your life, you can start to relate to other women because you start to realize they're all going through it, or they've all been through some sort of hardship, and that you can really, really learn from your women friends, and you can really help them.
Yeah.
And I think this is the best part of our lives in terms of being female. This is really it.
This is it. This is it, Mama. You're watching The Dawn Show. When we come back, Lindy talking about her involvement with the Nature Center and loving the outdoors. Back here live on The Dawn Show with Lindy Snyder. So we're just talking in the commercial break about how much you love animals, and you've really been involved with the Schuylkill Environmental Center.
Yes. That is a wonderful place, and they started doing environmental education for children in the city and schools. And they also have a wildlife rehabilitation center where they will take in little baby squirrels or birds or hawks and nurse them back to health and release them back into the wild. And it's the only place like that in Philadelphia, and I'm kind of passionate for it because I love animals.
Yeah, because we have our story of, you know, everybody has a story of finding, you found some baby bats, I found a baby raccoon, and where do we bring it?
Right.
You know.
And that's where you take it. And there's the guy there that runs the wildlife rehab center is named Rick Schubert, and he's a genius. And the way he loves and cares for these animals, I mean, you learn something every second that you spend with him. But it's really an interesting quandary because, look, we have our dogs and our cats and we love them, and we always have a place to take pets or types of pets that were abandoned. But where do you take, you know, a little bird?
Yeah.
And also your children constantly are finding little things and bringing them, Mommy, we have to save this little mouse that I found in the kitchen.
But it's great because it's teaching our kids empathy for nature, for
Yes.
life, and that's so important too.
It is, but it's also true that they have actually found a correlation between empathy for animals and lower violence in children and in communities. That where you have violence with people, you also have violence with animals. And there's a distinct correlation that's been well studied.
Yeah, I believe it. So we all want peace.
Yes.
Well, listen, happy Mother's Day this week. I'm sure I'll see you before then.
Yeah.
But Lindy, it's such a pleasure. I mean, you have this great energy.
Thank
so
you.
I'm thrilled to share my girlfriend with you. I'll see you tomorrow live at 11 here on The Dawn Show.